Good morning, YouTube. Filming another video. Got a coffee, and it's about 6 p.m. We're sipping on a Green Mountain honey drizzle of some sorts. I'm leaving that in. And today we got to talk. You know, one of the things that I'd always do and try my best not to do now is be looking for somebody or something or some video that you think is going to give you the answers. If you're scrolling and you're looking and you have, like, you know, those guys that make videos, and it's not to knock them, there might be some good stuff out there, but you know, if you don't need to be watching them, you know, if you're not going to do like some SaaS software stuff, or you're not going to do whatever crap they do, drop shipping. They're like, how I made 30K a month drop shipping. What are you watching the video for? I mean, unless you're seriously going to get into drop shipping, and that's like the first video you see. But yeah, these guys that are big, like successful guys on YouTube, and props to them. Good stuff, right? We got the man, the myth, the legend. I have a sick coffee mug collection that'll get shown on here. I usually get one like if I go on a little trip or something, every time I'm out and about. It's a good piece to bring back because I use it every day. So when you see these people, don't be watching it and thinking that you're doing something. That's kind of the point I'm getting to. Like, you think you're being productive because you're watching a video about somebody that is doing some business move. You're like, yeah, this is it. It probably ain't it, bro. It probably is not it. I mean, my advice, to be honest, would be to get some sort of like, and this is going to be like kind of contradicting, but you know the difference. You know the difference between like the free general public slop and then a paid community. Paid community, not somebody that's charging you like $5,000 for like a 3-month mentorship. And they got, you know, the closer, and you go on there and they're trying to hard close you. But join a community of people that are online. I actually got a story about this. But first, I'll finish my point. Join affordable community, maybe 30, 40, 50 bucks a month. That's tailored to what you want to do. They got, you know, modules, and you have to vet the person, right? Like, watch a couple pieces of their content if you're going to try to go down that route. And see, is this guy, from what you can tell, legit? And then get in that community, do some scoping, talk with people. Like, that's the thing, guys, okay? If you pay the 30, 40 bucks a month, you will take it more serious than if you didn't. I promise you that, because you're like, okay, like, I'm paying for this. Like, I'm taking the next step. I'm doing something. There's like a wall, and there's value behind that wall. I'm not saying every course is a scam. Totally not what I'm saying. In fact, I've paid for a handful of courses. What I will say is like 90% of them are usually like some sort of bogus, just kind of washed. Like, they'll have material and it'll be like a layer deeper, but they're not going to tell you how to like get like that. For the most part, it's not to knock everybody, because I've paid for many communities and some of them have actually panned out really well. So like, this was 2023, maybe 2022, around the holiday season. I bought a TikTok shop course, and it was $1 a day. And I think it's now rebranded, but it was $1 a day. And from that course, they had messages in there. They do daily calls. Like, if you're going to do this crap, show up to the stuff. Like, you're paying for a daily call with these people. You better freaking show up. If you're not going to show up, you think you buy the course and like watch some videos and that's it. You got to actually, you know, do it, right? So I tune into the calls and I'd be asking questions and like I was super involved. And I paid for it for 7 months. So let's say that's like $210 total. And I made about 5,500 from that. And I was just making TikTok videos, you know, this product. You get some videos that blow up because you're always in there and you're seeing what products are working, how you're doing your hooks. Like, you got to really, really get into that stuff. You can't just buy it and think that you got the golden ticket and that you're set. So the point of the video is, if you're somebody, because I'm only telling this because I was like this for a little bit. There was a brief period of time where I'd have like, I had, you know, a couple of YouTubers. You get off your shift, right? Get them working, you come home, and then you're listening to these people that are saying like, you know, whatever the next hot thing is. So if it was 2021, 2022, the drop shipping stuff, and then now AI is pretty hot. A lot of people talk about SaaS, all that stuff, and it all works. Everything works. I'm not saying it doesn't, but you gotta decide, because when you're just watching the general content on somebody's YouTube, it's like you're half in and you're half out. You got one foot in the door, you're interested in it, you're fired up, you're motivated to try it, but you're not fired up enough to actually do the work. You just like to watch the results and fantasize and dream about what it could be. So, I mean, eventually, right at some point, you have to initially watch that video, be like, oh, it's pretty cool. But then, like, quadruple down on it. Like, watch 20 videos. Spend like 6 hours watching videos. Decide if this is something you want to do. Like, the reality, the actual truth of doing it. Because everything goes like this. You know, it's the K. Kruger some shit effect where you're like super, super motivated and you think everything's easy. And then you go way down here and you're just like, wow, this is like actually how it is. And then from there, it's all up after you hit the rock bottom and you realize you don't know anything. You get down here and you're like, okay, this is actually how the game is. And then you start coming back up. So for me, it was on and off, right? I kind of tried it, worked out a little bit, other things didn't. And then I was just like, you know what, dude, like, I'm cooked. Because a lot of this online stuff is like a whole bunch of work for potentially a really, really killer position and opportunity that can happen. It can totally happen. And it could happen just making free content. You know, I'm not saying you have to go and build some agency or build some company. But a lot of this stuff takes time, planting seeds, watering it every day, letting it grow. And that's why I chose to go the service-based route, because it's more linear. Like, you get one client, as long as you don't lose them, they're coming in. And then you get another one and they're coming in. So there's a little bit more growth, especially initially. And the payout could still be as large. I would argue it might even take the same amount of time. It might even take 10 years. And then you're an overnight success. Then you have this like big company that does landscaping, right? So no matter what you decide to do, it's all gonna suck. And watching more of this slop that comes out, and it's high quality production, right? Like, these guys are really doing this, but that is not going to get you anywhere. It doesn't make you better. It doesn't make you smarter. You end up knowing a whole bunch about all this little stuff. You're like, yeah, you know, I tried this, I tried that, I tried that. You have to stop trying stuff and stop dipping your toes in it. You're either fully in, butt naked, absorbing all the ice cubes going around in that pool, or you stay clear and you stay out. There's some saying that's like, you know, a whole bunch about a little bit. It's like a jack of all trades, right? You know a little bit about a lot, but you're not a master of anything. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy. Pick one thing and just stick with it. And if you're like, I'm going to try for this big payoff. I'm going to try for, like, I was doing AI stuff for a while, but even way before I started posting YouTube videos. My YouTube videos aren't here. I was doing it way before. And I had some opportunities. I had some generational fumbles, actually. I could have really, really sparked it up. But like I said, we had generational fumbles. So this stuff can pan out, but you have to stay in the game for so long and just keep going. I'm not saying I chose a service base as a cop-out, but for me, it really just makes more sense. You show up, you say you're going to do what you do, you're respectful, you're nice, you're a personable guy, people like you, you do a fantastic job, go over and above, and then you will be their guy for their whatever service it is. You'll get recommendations. You keep showing up, you keep doing it. Like, I got my first pool client in August, 6 months ago. And it's been 6 months. I'm up to 6 clients, but I had 2 up until November. It was like 4 months of just 2 clients, like $200 a month coming in. And while that's not nothing, I'm not saying it's nothing, but relative to my 9 to 5, it'd be nice, but it wasn't like, okay, like I'm starting to see this. Now, with where I'm at, just even with 6, I do this 2 days a week. I had 1 pool today. I do this 2 days a week, and now I'm like, okay, like I feel like we're getting somewhere. The ball's in motion a little bit, but you have to stick it through, and you have to also know what field you're in. If you're in any of this online stuff, tech stuff, it's going to be 6 months of like probably going negative for all the softwares you got to pay for, all of the different things you got to do to learn about. You're going to be working and having to pay yourself, if that makes sense. You're going to lose money. I think my whole AI journey over the year and some change that I did, it costed me like $7,000. I lost $7,000 trying to go in on myself. But, it is what it is. You wake up and you're better and you keep going forward, and you never really lose. Because all the failures you experience, like I know how to just actually sit there, focus, and work now. And that's not something I had before. It was kind of an expensive lesson nonetheless, and some people can do it without, but some people are just kind of retarded, and you need that little bit of extra, like, okay, like you need the slap in the face, the kick in the nuts. And sometimes you have to keep getting kicked. It depends on what sort of guy you are. So keep that in mind, and don't be looking for the next hit. Like, all of this stuff is just dopamine hits at the end of the day. When you're finding that next video or that next guru and you're binge watching all of his stuff, dude, you're just getting a little rush. It's no different than somebody watching slop on TikTok. You're just watching a little bit more professional slop. You already know what to do. You got it in you. So stop looking for the external things and just do what you know you need to do. I mean, like how it is, everybody's path is a little bit different. You already know what you need to do. You're trying to find something else that's like a cop-out. Being like, oh, I need to try this, or I need to get into that. Pick the one thing and at least stick it through for 4 seasons. If you haven't done a full year going for something, I don't believe that you've tried. And it's a year of showing up every day and legitimately trying. And then at that point, you've been through that valley. You know if there's a light at the end of the tunnel, or you know if it's time to jump ship. So I can't help you as far as that goes, but you know what your personal situation is. And I wish you all the best of luck. That's all I got to say for you guys today. Appreciate the video, and I appreciate you watching it. Last one popped off a little bit, like 40 views now, which is solid. I'm like rebuilding my base from when I had been making AI content. I guess this is a completely different niche, but I love making these videos every day. And that being said, I'll see you guys tomorrow.